Well, I think this could finally be the loss that is the straw that breaks the camel's back for the Giants. They lose 10-5 to the Pirates. And yes, I think for the most part, the season's done for the Giants. And this may finally be the game that gets the Giants to sell. This is Giants Roundup. It is Thursday, August 9th. First game of a 4-game series. You can follow on Twitter, join the Crook and Kite page on Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. If you thought the Giants had any hope of crashing the postseason, tonight was the night the reality check set in. As this is just simply not a good team. This is simply not a playoff team. And now they are 2 games under 500 after tonight's loss. They fall to 57 and 59 on the season. And now they fall back to 7 games in the West. So it's the fat lady is starting to open her mouth at this point. It's not insurmountable yet, but it's starting to look ugly. And in the wild card, they are 7 back, so not exactly a great place to be. And even with all the even year magic, I think we can say rest in peace to even year magic. Now it's time I think it's just time for reality at this point. What realistically can the Giants do? And I think this is finally the game that's going to get the Giants front office to wave the white flag and put some players on waiver, get a couple prospects back, and go for it again next offseason. And Andy Suarez, he wasn't too terribly bad tonight. He wasn't great, but he was okay, better than his last couple starts. He goes 5 innings, allows 7 hits, allows 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. The 2 bombs are what were the killers in the second inning. Erasmo Diaz to left field. It scores freeze, 2-0 Pirates. And then Josh Bell, returning from the disabled list, hits a home run to left field. It is 3-0 Pirates, and that would be Andy Suarez's line, not too terribly bad there. Then Maranta, scoreless inning. And then Ivan Nova, 2 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. Excellent outing out of him. Reyes Maranta was good. Then, yeah. Mark Melancon wasn't good, but he wasn't that bad either. But he still does not look like a pitcher who deserves that big contract. But there was certainly a comedy of errors in the 7th inning with Joe Panic committing an error, Evan Longoria and Hunter Pence later on, but Longoria and Panic commit errors in the 7th inning. It wound up scoring scoring Harrison 4-2. Oh, and that's for 5th inning. In the 5th inning, the Giants clawed back and made it 3-2 with a triple by Allen Hansen. It scores Austin Slater. And then Steven, teach me how to Duggar. Teach me how to Duggar. It scores Allen Hansen 3-2. And then 7th inning, this is where the Pirates did most of their work. Frazier singles to left. It scores Harrison 4-2. Gregory Polanco doubles to left. It scores Frazier Marte 5-2. And then from one gas can to another gas can as Derek Law comes in and home run by David Freese. It makes it 8-2 Pirates. It scores Marte Polanco. That was the dagger. Then Colin Moran, a single to left to right. It scores Josh Bell 9-2. Then Frazier sacrifices. It scores Jordy Mercer 10-2. Eric Law, 1 1/3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, ERA of 8.74. I think tomorrow it is time to DFA Derek Law. I would not even keep him on the 40-man roster. DFA his ass back to Sacramento. Law I just don't think. I think Law needs to go this offseason along with Josh Osich. But I think maybe it's time to call up, maybe bring up Ryder Jones tomorrow for a few games until you make a trade. And then Pierce Johnson comes in, another solid inning in garbage time. Joe Panic doubles. It scores Longoria and Crawford 10-4. Duggar, teach me how to Duggar. Teach me how to Duggar. Scores Joe Panic 10-5, and that would be your final score. And I think fourth place is where the Giants are going to be this year. Colorado now 3.5. Arizona and LA tied for first. And there's only less than 50 games left. Maybe barely 1% chance of the Giants making it to the postseason at this point. I just feel this is finally the game that's going to price where reality is going to set in for the front office. And they're going to have to start making the waiver moves here. Time to put Andrew McCutchen on the waiver wire at this point, get his salary out of here. I think it's time to give the Submariner a call up. It's time to give Tyler Rogers an opportunity. I don't like I would say Mac Williamson should come back, but he's just not been great in Sacramento as of right now. Is it maybe time to give Chris Shaw a look? Maybe play Chris Shaw at right field, see what he does. He is kind of a defensive liability, but he does have the home run power, so maybe you give Chris Shaw an extended look here. But I think that for all intents and purposes, the Giants are done for this year. Maybe they finish 500, or maybe this is just finally the point where they're starting to just run out of gas. I also expect Sam Dyson likely will probably be put on waivers. At this point, I don't expect Watson or Smith to be placed on revocable waivers. But yeah, you got McCutchen's an expiring contract after this year. Sam Dyson is arbitration eligible, and his price is not going to be exactly the cheapest. Will Smith, he will have one more year of team control. He is arbitration eligible after this year. But I expect a team like San Diego would try to claim him. So I don't see them trying to put Will Smith on waivers at any point, time and point. I think Melanson should not be pitching anywhere near late innings for the time being. And even Joe Panic, I think maybe it's time to explore trading him. Try to get some sort of a return for him. But at this point, what do you do? But this Giants team has a lot more questions than answers. And granted, they want to make a run at Bryce Harper. I just don't see it happening. I don't think Harper is going to be coming to the Giants. I don't think Machado's coming to the Giants. And once those two guys are, this could be realistically an off season where the Giants are going to have to be good at drafting and scouting. Next year, it might be a tank year. And lately Bochy's just he's won 3 championships and all that. But I'm really starting to wonder if the game is maybe past Bochy. But granted, Ray Black hasn't helped him out. None of the bullpen guys have really worked on him. Worked out for him in the late innings as of late. But if you are Bochy, it may be time to start thinking about retirement. And lately, Bochy's there just seems like times lately where Bochy's head is not in the game. He's not looking great health wise as of late. I think this season's starting to get to Bochy, and it might be time for Brian Sabian to come in and start possibly having a discussion of moving him to the front office this offseason. I think it might be time for a new voice in the dugout. I really think it might be time to bring in a new manager and maybe even clean house. Might even be time to. I don't think a lot of this coaching staff should be retained next year. I think it should be maybe a clean break this offseason. I think the Giants need culture change. New coaches, fresh voices. Because realistically, you're not getting. I don't see Bryce Harper coming here, and he does not hit for average, and he's a hothead. I don't want him here. Same thing with Manny Machado. He's a bit of a hothead despite being a power bat. I don't want any of those two guys here. I'd want team players. I don't want another Barry Bonds situation. And yeah, he is getting his number retired, and he's done a lot of great for the Giants, but he's done a lot of bad. He was not the greatest locker room presence. But I don't know. But yeah, his attitude wasn't the greatest. But you have to put despite the fact that he was a great Giant. He did a lot of good. You have to take the good and the bad with Barry Bonds. And Bonds is never going to get in the Hall of Fame, but I think he does deserve to have his number retired. I think retiring his number is the right thing to do for all the good things he's done with the Giants, despite all the bad things despite the fact I don't care for his ego. But I think the front office needs to have that Dr. Phil moment. You've had Giants is not this team's not been that great going back to the 2016 All-Star break. I think there's going to need to be a culture change this offseason. It might mean a new voice in the dugout. It might mean doing something you normally would not want to do, but it may have to happen. And it might be parting ways with Bochy, moving him to the front office. It might mean none of Bochy's assistants returning. I think it might be time for a clean break and maybe even get rid of Bobby Evans. There's a disconnect somewhere. There is some sort of a disconnect somewhere. Maybe they finish 500. Maybe this is the beginning of the collapse. But we could be really heading for a very nuclear off season with the Giants coming up. But I think this is the Dr. Phil moment. It's time to say it's over. Time to get a return for Dyson. Get a return for McCutcheon. Shop Panic if he gets put Panic on waivers. See what happens. But it's time to focus on the farm. Giants need to get better at scouting, getting that farm together. That's the culture change that needs to happen. It needs to start on the farm. And next year, it might mean tanking. If you do not get a Machado or a Harper, it might mean embrace the tank. Or even Patrick Corbin. If you can't get a Patrick Corbin, and they're going to have to get at least one free agent starter, it might mean tanking. It's something the Giants front office does not like doing. But I could see 2019 being a very hard year for the Giants if they miss out on free agency. But I think for all intents and purposes, this season is over. In time to call up some more kids from Sacramento, give them their first cups of coffee, and start evaluating for 2019. That's all you can really do. But I'll say this: hey, at least the Niners won tonight. We'll get to that after the Bay Area Roundup tonight. And also, we did have a acquisition made. The Oakland A's made another. Oakland A's really being good on the waiver wire here. They claimed Fernando Rodney from the Minnesota Twins for another prospect. So Oakland's got a good bullpen going here. And Rodney's not even going to be called the close or even be in the eighth inning. So the A's have got a nice bullpen going. And I totally would not be surprised if the A's go out and pick up another starter off the waiver wire before it's all said and done. I'm really liking what David Forst and Billy Beane has done through the waiver wire this year for the Oakland A's. They are really in it to win the AL West this year. And you know what? They are creeping up on they are really starting to creep up on the Astros at this point. I think they're like 4 games back of the Astros, and now they get the Angels. If they can go in there and take care of business against the AL West, I think the AL West could be there for the Oakland A's taking. Let's do the MLB Roundup for tonight. In DC tonight, the Nationals beat the Braves 6-3. Taking the win, Gio Gonzalez. Taking the loss, Wes Parsons. Eddie Freeman goes 3 for 4 for Atlanta. Trey Turner 2 for 3 for Washington. Anthony Rendon 2 for 3. Taylor hits his 6th home run of the season. And Gio Gonzalez, a really good outing. This is a guy who maybe the Giants could take a look at this offseason to bolster the rotation. In Cleveland, the Indians beat the Twins 5-4, taking the win. Andrew Miller taking the loss. Addison Reed, who falls to 1-6 on the season. Yeah, I did get here a bit late tonight, is over. Had other stuff to do first. And there in Milwaukee, the Padres beat the Brewers 8-4, taking the win. Kirby Yates taking the loss. Corey Nebel, who surrenders 4 earned without recording an out to blow the save. Travis Shaw 3 for 4 for the Brewers. Franmil Reyes goes 3 for 5 for the Friars. And it looks like now they're starting Robbie Erlin in the Padres rotation. Nebels, yeah, four earned without recording an out. Joaquin Soria, an earned run in 1/3 of an inning pitched. And Jacob Barnes, an earned run in 2/3 of an inning pitch for Milwaukee. And now the Brewers have fallen 2 games back of Chicago in what is a very tight wild card race. In the Bronx, the Yankees beat the Texas Rangers 7-3, taking the win. J.A. Happ taking the loss. Ariel Huardo. Haps get strikes out 9 in 6 innings pitched. Brandon Aaron Hicks' 20th home run of the season for the Bombers. Neil Walker, 2 home runs today, his 6th of the season. Giancarlo Stanton hits his 28th home run for the Bombers. And welcome to the MLB for Ariel Huardo, 6 earned and 5 innings pitched. Matt Moore, an earned run in 3 innings pitched. In Toronto, the Blue Jays beat the Red Sox 8-5, taking the win. Ryan Baruki taking the loss. Rick Porcello gets pounded for 7 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. Eduardo Nunez goes 3 for 4 for the Red Sox. Just Dingers hits his 35th home run of the season. Devon Travis 2 for 3. Justin Smoke 3 for 4. And Ken Giles surrenders an earned run in his debut with the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. And in Tampa tonight, the Rays beat the Orioles 5-4, taking the win. Johnny Chirinos taking the loss. Cody Carroll, 2 earned runs and 2/3 of an inning pitch for Carroll. Joey Rickard 2 for 3 for the Orioles. Former Giant Matt Duffy 2 for 3 for the Rays. And Ji-Man Choi hits his 2nd home run of the season, going 1 for 3. David Hess 3 earned and 5 2/3 innings pitched. In Houston tonight, the Astros lose to the Mariners 8-6. Taking the win, James Paxton. Getting pounded with 6 earned runs in 2 innings pitched tonight and taking a loss was Justin Verlander. Not his best outing tonight. Mitch Haniger 4 for 5 for the Mariners. Denard Span 3 for 3. Gene Segura 3 for 5. Haniger hits his 19th home run of the year. Span hits his 9th home run of the year. Segura his 9th home run of the year. Tyler White 2 for 4 and hits his 5th home run of the year. Former Grizzly Tony Kemp 3 for 4 for the Astros. And then Will Harris 2 earned and 2 innings pitched. And then Edwin Diaz gets his 43rd save of the season for the Astros. And in Denver tonight, the LA Dodgers beat the Colorado Rockies 6-5. Taking the win is Caleb Ferguson. Taking the loss is Wade Davis, who surrenders 3 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning pitched. Nolan Arenado goes 3 for 4 for the Rockies. Chris Iannetta 3 for 4 for the Rockies and hits his 8th home run of the season. Jock Peterson hits his 18th home run of the season. Max Muncy his 25th home run of the season. Cody Bellinger his 19th home run of the season. Chris Taylor his 13th home run of the season. And Brian Dozier his 3rd home run of the season. Pedro Baez 4 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning pitched. Stripling an earned run in 6 innings pitched at Coors Field. Scott Oberg 2 earned runs in 1 inning pitched. Sang Hwang Oh 2 earned runs in 2/3 innings pitched. And Wade Davis 3 earned runs in 1/3 of an inning pitched. and now balloons his ERA to 5.51 on the season. It could be closer by committee in Colorado now after tonight's loss. And now let's see what the wild card looks like at this point. If the season were to end today, Boston would play the winner of Oakland and New York, and Oakland would travel to Yankee Stadium for the wild card game, with Cleveland and Houston playing against each other in the ALDS, with Houston hosting game one. Seattle 2.5 back of the wild card in the AL. In the National League, where it's a lot closer of a race, a lot more competitive, the Cubs would play the winner of a. We would have a interesting scenario. We would have a one-game playoff in the NL West between Arizona and LA for the division. Then the loser of that would play Atlanta in a one-game playoff to determine the wild card. So that would be the scenario as of right now if the season were to end today. Colorado 3.5 games back. St. Louis, surprisingly, 3.5 games now back of the wild card. So maybe it's starting to look like Mike Schilt could lose the interim tag over there in St. Louis. Pittsburgh 4 back of the wild card. Washington 4.5 back of the wild card. And the Giants fading out at 7 games back at this point. That would be the season were to end today. I wonder what tonight's attendance was for tonight's Giants game. Take a look at that. I think it was a sellout tonight. Yes, no, it was not 40,035. It was barely not. It was just not under being a sellout tonight. There, it was not officially a sellout tonight. And down on the farm tonight, in the PCL. Come on, load, load, load. Everybody off tonight? Let's see. Let me reload it. Here we go. Here's the scores for the minor leagues for the PCL as of tonight. The Grizzlies beat the Isotopes 3-2 at Chancey Park. As the Grizzlies looks like the Grizzlies are here in playoffs here. Jordan Alvarez 2-for-2, Nick Tanalou 2-for-3. Rogelio Armenteros, good outing tonight, 7 strikeouts, 1 earned run. Framber Valdez takes the win, 3 runs, 3 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Fresno improves to 67-49, and we have like 2 weeks left, 2 to 3 weeks left in the PCL season. And the River Cats beat the El Paso Chihuahuas 2-1. Getting the win is Chris Stratton, so it looks like Chris Stratton had a good night in Sacramento. Hopefully he can start. Hopefully this will be the beginning of him finding his command for September call-ups here. – . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . LB Tomlinson goes 2 for 3 for the River Cats. Peter Bourgeot 2 for 4. Cesar Puello 1 for 4. Miguel Gomez 1 for 4. Miles Schroeder 1 for 4. Trevor Brown 1 for 2. Stratton goes 1 for 1. Hunter Strickland, looks like Hunter Strickland has a scoreless frame in his rehab assignment. Tyler Rogers, who could be coming up whose call up could be imminent here in the coming days, picks up the save for the River Cats. And also, speaking of the River Cats, the Giants organization does release Jerry Sands, as he will go and continue his baseball career in Korea. I wish him a lot of luck playing overseas. Hopefully, he can revive his career in Korea. So, good luck for Sands over in Korea. But now it's just time to really start paying attention to the minors at this point, as pretty much it's extended auditions from here on out, with the season pretty much over. So I think we'll see who gets called up first. We could see Strickland back with the Giants in a couple weeks here, and so reinforcements could be coming for the bullpen, but hopefully we'll see Tyler Rogers up, and hopefully things will get better here. But it's just time to concede on 2018 and move on to 2019. Oh, forgot to do preseason. Yes, there was NFL preseason tonight. The Niners come back in the fourth quarter and beats the Dallas Cowboys 24-21. Jimmy Garoppolo 3 for 6, 34 yards, 67.4 QB passer rating. CJ Beathard comes in the second, 10 for 20. He looked a bit better in the second half of the game. 180 yards passing, 181 yards passing, 9.1 interception, 60.6 rating. Nick Mullins, 11 for 13, 141 passing yards, a 105.5 passer rating. Dak Prescott was great, 3 for 3, 158.3 yards. Most of the rushing came from Raheem Mostert, 57 yards, 8 carries, 57 yards, 7.1 yards per carry. Not too bad there. Matt Breida wasn't great tonight. Jerick McKinnon, negative yardage tonight. We'll find out more about them as we get further into the preseason. And receiving, Victor Bolden Jr., 54 receiving yards. Really good job there. Dante Pettis, 1 reception for 53 yards. Richie James, 4 receptions, 46 yards. 1 was for a touchdown. And the defense didn't look too terrible tonight. Defense did allow 21 points. Mike White, 6 for 11. Cooper Rush, 15 for 23. But I've liked the O-line, no sacks tonight. San Francisco loses a fumble. But they do win week 1 of the preseason. Next week, the Niners will go to Houston to play the Texans. That will conclude tonight's Giants Roundup, along with a little bit of Niners After Dark. Everybody have a great night. We will see you possibly tomorrow night over there at the DoubleTree, depending on the Wi-Fi. Good night.